Helldivers 2 has had various events in the game that has positively impacted the community, changed the total landscape of the game, and left a plethora of memories to be had within Helldivers 2. So today I thought I would go over 10 of the best events in Helldivers 2 that we've had so far, so let's get into it. Number 10 on the list is Anti-Tank Mines versus Saving Children. This event was quite a small scale one in the grand scheme of things, but it definitely was important because we had to choose between saving two different systems, and depending on which one we saved first determined which reward we would get. We had to choose between saving the children of Super Citizen Anne's Hospital for Very Sick Children on Vernon Wells, or acquiring large explosive repositories on Marfark that would lead to us getting the MD-17 anti-tank mines. Thankfully, Helldivers chose to save the children and the anti-tank mines were delayed again, which was a reoccurring thing, which was quite amusing. But because we saved the children, Arrowhead made a donation of $4,311 to save the children, and we also got this sweet picture and message from one of the children we saved from Vernon Wells. Because of this as well, further donations were made to save the children by members of the Helldivers community, which is just awesome. So I just had to include this event on the list because it had a really positive impact and outcome both in the game and especially out of the game. Just once again proving that Arrowhead and the community around Helldivers is a really positive environment. Number 9 on the list is the Second Galactic War beginning officially. On May 15th, the Second Galactic War officially begun, and anything we had done before this was labeled as a series of escalating special military operations. And if you know what that means, then it's a bit of a joke on a real life quote. That's all I'm going to say about that. After already fighting for months across the Automaton and Terminid fronts, war was officially upon us in Helldivers 2, and boy did it scale everything to the max. We began by setting up multiple facilities across different systems on both fronts to train up new recruits. I remember around this time they also added the Helm's Deep-like defense mission type, where we had to evacuate high value assets from the planet and defend the walls and gates whilst this happened. This was also when the Automatons had just invaded with a huge fleet into 6 different sectors, and the bugs had their super colony on Meridia, and we all know what that led to. This was the beginning of some pretty special events in the game, which is why I had to add it to the list. So that's at number 9. Number 8 is the Gloom. The Gloom is still a huge mystery, which is why it's quite far down the list, but god, what a mystery it is. It's a very ominous looking yellow cloud that just looms over the Terminid front and just started growing out of nowhere. These mysterious spores just took over systems one by one until it had engulfed nearly a dozen solar systems on the Terminid front. I'm very keen to find out more about the Gloom. Could it lead to new Terminids? Maybe the Hive Lord will finally make an appearance after multiple theories of this new Terminid enemy have been floating around for some time now, or could it lead to something completely different? Much is still unknown about the Gloom. We've had a couple major orders to do with it. There was the one where we had to collect various samples, but that sort of got nullified a bit because there was some hacking going on. People contributed false samples to the major order, which meant we got it done way quicker than we were meant to. I'm sure before the year's out, we'll find out what the hell the Gloom is. But until then, it's gonna sit at number 8 in terms of in-game events in Helldivers 2. Number 7 is gunships and factory striders appearing out of nowhere. This, from memory, was the first time we got a glimpse of the fact that new enemy types could just pop out of nowhere, and these two enemies were scary when they first appeared. Reports of AT-AT-like walkers and gunships being deployed on the Automaton front started pouring in, and I remember seeing these for the first time, and my goodness, what an awesome moment, but also may have been a bit scared, especially of the factory striders. I still get worried when I see those huge hulking big walkers come into the battlefield because they are so tough. I add this because I just love that the devs at Arrowhead sneak fairly large things into the game and don't tell us, letting us as a community discover these things in real time as we experience these events live. Number 6 is the Escalation of Freedom update. As much as Escalation of Freedom had its issues, especially with balancing, which is thankfully now fixed and the game is better than ever, but those issues in my opinion didn't hinder the fact that a lot got added to the game. various new side objectives, new enemy types for both the bugs and the bots. We also got a new difficulty level, an even bigger enemy outpost for the Terminids and Automatons, as well as a new biome which was basically just a spookier version of the swamp biome, which is one of my favorites. Oh, and we also got a new environmental hazard. Acid storms were added and just added a new layer to the game when fighting on those planets affected by these storms. I'm sure bigger and better things will be coming to the game before the year is out, but this was just the first taste of a bigger content update for the game, and I was pretty satisfied for the most part, even with the balancing issues, which, like I said, have now been fixed. Which again just shows the dedication that Arrowhead has to making this game as good as possible, making sure that people are enjoying it as much as possible, which I think just creates a really positive environment around the community itself as well, because the devs pour positivity and optimism into their game, which then leaks out into the community. Number 5 is the TCS Setup and Failure. The TCS was a wild ride that eventually led to an entire planet turning into a black hole, but before that, we had to set the thing up. I remember it being extremely difficult to set up. We had to bring this system online on multiple planets across the Terminid front, and then we kind of just left it alone, assuming that it was working just fine, but later finding out, oh no, it's actually mutating and causing an influx of Terminids on the planets where it's set up. We then had to scramble to take back these planets and actually shut the TCS down completely. Unfortunately, there was one planet that was completely screwed, Meridia. And that's why Meridia and the Super Colony is next on this list at number 4. God, where do I start with Meridia? What an awesome event in the game. Like, who thinks of this stuff? Oh, what's that? The bugs are mutating. They have a super colony on this planet where we basically set up the machine that made them this powerful and completely changed the landscape of multiple planets, especially this one. Oh, I know what we should do. Insert dark fluid from an old enemy of the Helldivers and Super Earth into the planet's core to make it turn into a black hole. What could go wrong? I remember first diving onto Meridia when this event was going on and being blown away by how screwed up the planet was. It had completely changed since we had last been on the planet. It really looked like a Terminid hellhole, and the dark fluid mission type was extremely fun, if difficult, and I'm glad they eventually made a smaller scale version of that mission type where we basically nuke Terminid nests now. I hope we get some resolution for the black hole that is Meridia soon, because I stand by the theory that it will be the source of the Illumina entering the fray. There's just too many clues pointing to that goddamn black hole that we made using dark fluid that we got from the Illumina. I swear to God, my tinfoil hat will be right one day, and I hope it's before the year is out. Number 3 on the list is the Automata Vanguard / main invasion. The automatons disappearing, leading us into thinking we may have defeated them for good, only for them to pop back up on the map again with a full invasion fleet was one of the coolest things to happen in the game so far. I remember being ready to sign off for the night, playing Helldivers 2 on the PS5, and just seeing these red sectors pop up back on the galactic map, in disbelief at what I was seeing. Fleets of ships coming onto the map, showing that what we were fighting previously was only the vanguard for the automatons, was shockingly cool. I remember getting up instantly, turning on my PC and going straight to record a video. It was like 11 PM and I ended up staying late to make that initial invasion video because I was just so hyped. Cool events like these make the game so special, and this was one of the best ones. It sticks in my memory to this day. We've had something similar recently with the Jet Brigade. I got flashbacks of that main invasion fleet coming in, seeing it on the map, and the automatons absolutely not screwing around when it came to taking over planets. Okay, we're at the top 2 on the list. If you've enjoyed the video so far, make sure to like it and subscribe for more Helldivers 2 content. But number 2 on the list is Malignant Creek. It was tough to find where to put the creek because I wasn't exactly one of the creekers, constantly battling away on Malignant Creek, but it was the planet where I first experienced fighting the automatons. It also had such a lasting impact on the community. People still talk about the Battle of the Creek to this day, and I think for that, I had to put it at number 2 because of the memes, the memories, the utterly cool atmosphere of the planet as a whole was something special. God forbid if we have to go back there one day to defend it, but if it does happen, I will be one of the first to dive into the creek once more because, let's be honest, no one forgets the creek. So what's number 1? Well, it's less of an event that was purposely made in-game and more of a moment in time for the Helldivers 2 community, and it is launch week. Number 1 on my list is the launch of Helldivers 2. Honestly, I had to put this at number 1 because it is a core memory for me. That first week or so of the game was truly something special that I haven't really experienced in gaming before. All my friends picking up the game, playing it constantly, the absolutely huge player base, and discovering the wonders of Helldivers 2 together was a really amazing experience. Falling in love with Helldivers happened so naturally, and it is one of my favorite games of all time, and it all started when the game launched back in February, and we all discovered something truly special in video games, which was this Helldivers 2 community, the game itself, and Arrowhead as the devs. It wasn't only the game though. The channel here grew because of this game. You all subscribed, commented, watched, and liked so many Helldivers videos, and still do, and I cannot thank you enough for the support, and I am so keen for what's to come in Helldivers 2 and this channel. So if you want to see more, make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more Helldivers 2 content, become a member today if you want to support me in another way. You'll get early access to videos and live streams, and let me know in the comments down below what your favorite event in Helldivers 2 has been so far. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!